It is good to come together, isn't it? Co-creation at its best. We see you have dragged your physical bodies here. More than that, you are much more than these physical bodies, and the whole of you is with you all the time. You don't know it sometimes. You're so used to your inner being hanging around with you that you don't know it's happening. You can feel the extreme of your connection, though, when you're really tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you're really a vibrational match to that non-physical part of you. You can feel it by your exhilaration and your clarity, the fun that you feel, the love that you feel. You can feel that. And when you're focused in ways that pinch that off, so you feel ornery or more like fearful, you can feel that too. So you have an emotional sense of how much of who you are allowing to be focused with you in any moment. We call that your guidance system, your emotions. Your emotions are your best, not only, but best indicator of your vibrational alignment as it compares to the vibrational alignment of your inner being. Does that make sense to you? You had an inner being, you have an inner being, but you had an inner being before you had this physical being. And that non-physical inner part of you focused a part of you here. And you became this human personality in the making as you respond to the atmosphere around you, while your inner being remains consistently knowing these things. You have come into your body with tremendous intention, really strong desire. You wanted to be out here on the leading edge of two things. We've not said this to you before. The leading edge of the new thought, because the contrast inspires you to a new take on life or a new decision or a new desire. But also, not just to the new desire, but you are the first who gets to witness the unfolding of that desire as the vibrations turn to thoughts and the thoughts turn to words and things. And that's what you want most as humans. Long before you had any sense of what goes on in a gathering like this, you lived enough life to know that there were things that you wanted, and mostly you knew what you wanted when you didn't have it. When you saw someone else experiencing it while you weren't. Mostly you know what you want when you're living something that you don't want to live. You want a relief from that. In other words, the contrast, the magnificent contrast of your physical leading edge, time and space, inspires you to your specific, clear, new decisions about what you want. And you came with that powerful knowing that you would be inspired to the new desire, but you also knew that you were going to witness the manifestation of that desire. It wasn't just a fleeting dream. It wasn't just a hopeful thing. It wasn't wishing. It was creating. You knew that you would create your life experience, and you were ravenous about the idea of it. You were so eager to get here where you could sort of look around and make your own decisions and find your place and feel where you are and compare yourself to others and learn through life experience, because words don't teach. What you prefer. And you knew coming in that your preferences would be honored and supported and helped. You felt worthy in a way you don't even understand the word in your body quite yet. Eager and knowing and worthy and ready. But after you hang around here for a while with others, you sort of water that down. That pure love that you feel for yourself, you water down with people that look at you weird, or with people that don't approve of you, of people who really don't mean anything to you, but still They matter to you for weird reasons. And so, over time, most humans sort of muddy the waters of clarity through observations of unwanted. We want you to know that you getting what you want, which is what you intended to do when you came, because you're a creator, you knew that that just meant figuring it out and then looking in the direction of it, period. Point at it, not in opposition of it. And yet, as observers of life and considerers of what you want, you have developed a natural, we will say, propensity to weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses and the, yeah, I want that and I don't want that. And you've become so objective that you've become waterers, downers of everything you want. Instead of just say, yes, I prefer a good meal, you say, but should I spend that much money on it? Instead of saying, I adore prosperity and I would like money to enhance my sense of freedom, you say, but isn't that selfish? Shouldn't I just take what I need? Because you've forgotten that you are the attractor or summoner of the energy that provides everything that you focus upon. So you focus this away and that away and this away and that away, and then you complain that things don't go more this away. And we say, stop talking so much about that away and more things will go this away. And you say, Abraham, it cannot be that simple. And we say, it is. It is that simple. You've just forgotten how simple it is because you complicated it. Because when you've cluttered your mind, in your confusion, you can't see how simple it can be. Watch the young ones. They have not forgotten. The beasts of your planet. That's a term of endearment. The critters, the creatures, those beasts of your planet that are selfishly oriented and not ashamed of it. Because you seem to know it. We're not kidding you. In other words, you're not off kilter on anything that you're saying. You're understanding this very well. But the question we have for you that might take you into even more clarity, because you said for the enjoyment of it, but...
Right, that's the game, right? That's why we're playing it with each other, and then you end up in situations where others are experiencing, but it's all one. So I'm okay with the cycle and I'm okay with death. My question is, after watching my father-in-law succumb to cancer, I'm not afraid of death, but I'm deathly afraid of dying. So I was hoping you can help me feel better about that process of transitioning from like one game to another. That's why I came here.
That was a long way around.
Sorry. My wife is always upset. I always take a long round.
You didn't quite let us stick our question in first, which would have slightly changed the dynamics of the way you slid your question in. It's all right, we're going back to it. So it's for the pleasure of it.
Right.
But the question that we wanted to put to you is, where does satisfaction come from?
Being in the moment, enjoying what I'm here for.
Satisfaction comes from having been in the moment, having deciphered and observed and desired and concluded. Everything that you live causes you to ask for yet more. And that more that you ask for, that source energy part of you, immediately becomes fully engaged and engulfed and present in that more, no matter what it is. Physical conditions, financial situations, love interests, doesn't matter what the subject is. Your inner being becomes it. And you have a joyful life moment or more when you are moving in the direction of that. So what we're saying to you, everything that you said is right in that it's circular. This life causes you to ask for more, and that more calls you to the more. And that's what life is about. That is the game. That's the game. But it's not a fun game. It's not a game you win unless you understand that both parts of you exist simultaneously, and you in your conscious form are aware that that part exists, and that you have some reasonable desire to feel like that part of you feels. When you feel vulnerable like you do because of witnessing something that happened to somebody that you care about, where their life seemed not in their control and they suffered or experienced discomfort in some way, that insecurity or even fear that you feel means one thing and one thing only. You're in your human form looking at this, having a perspective of this, an opinion of this, and a bias of this death thing that is very different from that your inner being has. The only reason for suffering of any kind is a misunderstanding. It's a weird skew of things. What it means is you're looking at something in a way that your inner being is not looking at it, and whenever you're looking at something in a way that your inner being isn't looking at it, you feel the discord of it, and that's why you feel discomfort. And that's what disease is, that's what sickness is, that's what panic is, that's what uncomfortable moments are, that's what insecurity is, that's what fear is, that's what hate is. It's misunderstanding. We liked your word, the game. But it's not a game, it's life. It's you, it's whole, it's all, it's big. Let's not trivialize it by calling it a game. Let's call it me. Let's call it us. Let's call it more. Let's call it the eternalness that we all are. You are a big part of everything that is. You're not insignificant as some misguided people have tried to tell you. You're not inappropriate or insufficient, except in moments that you don't let yourself join with your inner being's perspective of the wholeness and the bigness and the goodness and the worthiness and the blessedness of you. And that's why people get sick. They lose track of that for a moment. They lose track of that. Now, the most interesting part of all of this is that your inner being never loses track of it and never stops flowing it to you. Never stops flowing it to you. And the very fact that your inner being, we're going to stand over here just to represent where your inner being is, but that's ridiculous because your inner being isn't over here or up there. Your inner being is consciousness. But your inner being is that which you have become, all that you've lived, and the culmination of that which you are, is proud of you and in love with life and others. Talk about not wiping clear. It's this clean slate of coming in with no biases that are going to work against you, and you getting to step into whatever biases that you pick up that blend you with your inner being or cause discord with your inner being.
No, I get that. Even sad moments, they add to the flavor. Otherwise, life is just a plane. And what's the game? The game is to experience these extreme sensations of
the game is to be happy.
Memories that we have together.
The game is to, in this moment, feel the wholeness of who you are, the worthiness of who you are. And you have to practice yourself into that, because you said, I not only am willing or able